Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Nassau Community College student Matt Leonard.
Today, you are going to meet a Long Island organization that wants to better the lives of children with cancer, pediatric cancer survivors and their families, as well as other chronic pediatric illnesses.
That sounds like a good cause, and it sounds like our guest is a very special person for helping to create something that helps people throughout Long Island. Her name is Terri Magro, and she is the co-founder and vice president of the Michael Magro Foundation. Terri, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you so much for inviting me to speak about the mission of the foundation. I really appreciate it and all the work that Nassau Community College does. So the Michael Magro Foundation started after a journey that my husband Paul and I went on, unfortunately, in 2004 when my son Mark, the day before his 11th birthday, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so he was being treated at the Cancer Center for Kids at what was Winthrop University Hospital, and now it's NYU Langone, Long Island. I have to get used to that. So he was being treated there for his Hodgkin's. And at the same time, Michael started to feel like he had a cold or something coming on of that nature. And that progressed over, it was in May, the end of May of 2004. So from March is when the first one was diagnosed. And then Michael presented with what we thought was a flu. It turned out they diagnosed him with pneumonia, but the pneumonia brought this leukemia to the forefront. So within a couple of short months, both of my boys, with no history of this cancer in the families, both were diagnosed and both being treated at the same time. So it was a very hectic journey for Paul, myself, my family. And unfortunately, Michael was 13 and a half when he was diagnosed. He was in 7th grade at Hicksville Middle School. And so he was, based on his age and based on the type of cell that he presented with, he was put into a very high risk category. He did not respond to treatment as well as they had hoped, with many, many consults from all over the United States, hospitals all over. Dr. Weinblatt was consulting with everybody. Michael passed on July 30th. So he was diagnosed on June 8th of 2004 and passed away on July 30th. So this, as you can well imagine, Bill, it turned our entire family inside out.
I was going to say it must be very difficult for you and your husband because we're talking 2 months there in 2004. Am I right that both sons?
March to June. Just a couple of short months. So it was a whirlwind, from start to finish. We were seeing Mark progressing so well, and then Michael presented, and so we went, from being elated that Mark was doing so well to being devastated that Michael was diagnosed and not doing well. Just as a background for me, I am a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for many years. I was currently working at NYU Winthrop at the time of their diagnosis, and I was affiliated with them. And I had the type of job that I wasn't practicing clinical at that particular juncture. I was in more of a sales and physician building kind of category. So I did not have to resign from my job, and Paul did not either. We were able to work remote back in 2004 before it was a fad, right? But fortunately for us, neither one of us had to resign. It is not the case by any means. Most families are not in that situation, and somebody does have to either resign, take a leave of absence. So now your medical bills, your expenses for your household have gone up, and your salary has gone down. So exponentially, you're in a tough spot. So walking this journey with so many families for the few short months that we were in treatment, and then, of course, onward, because Mark was under the care of the pediatric oncologist for a long time afterwards, we realized just how much money goes through your fingers, and your household budget is really thrown out the window. and you're just trying to figure out what you're doing and hope that you're paying these bills on time. So we decided after his passing that we would start a foundation that would help the families directly. It's not a research-based organization. It's not a brick and mortar. We really wanted to just help the families because we saw the devastation and the fear in their eyes that they were going to lose their homes, their cars were being taken away from them. It was crazy. And these are, families that are working so hard. There's other children in the home. Everybody is being affected. The family unit as a whole is being affected. So that is the mission of the foundation, was to be able to help these families through this crisis while these children are on treatment. And we reached out to the social workers, the clinical nurse specialists in the practices of pediatric oncology, the social workers on the units, child life specialists, which are another group of professionals that introduce medical play into the child's day-to-day to get them to understand a little bit better what is actually going on. And they're not threatened by these child life specialists, so the kids kind of develop a great rapport and they talk to them on a whole different level, because it's not a nurse coming with a needle to start an IV, to give them an injection, a doctor to tell them, some news that they may or may not want to hear at that time. These men and women are art therapists, music therapists, a wonderful group. We found out through this journey that it's not a clinical position in a hospital, and insurance pays by codes and clinical delivery of care. So everything has to be fundraised for these particular people. And so we embrace that particular organization and group of professionals into our mission as well. So the social workers, these child life specialists, they will identify a family in need. They will then send me a letter identifying what's going on in the family and scan me one or two bills that are outstanding. Usually they're pretty far gone by the time they at least admit that they need some help. And we try to get people at the beginning so that they're not falling so far behind. But, oftentimes people are proud and they want to be able to hold their family unit together, but then all of a sudden, their lighting is getting turned off because they haven't paid their electric bill. Their, mortgage is in jeopardy. There's so many fees and late payments that are coming. So the social workers truly try to work with them early on to let them know there's people out there to help you. They've been through your journey. They understand 110% what you're going through, and they don't want you to fall into the trap of losing anything and being put into a situation that is jeopardizing you. So that's where our referrals come from. And we work with locally Cohen Children's Hospital, Stony Brook Pediatric, NYU Langone's Cancer Center for Kids, both on Long Island and Manhattan, Presbyterian's Pediatric, Memorial Sloan, and then we go from there. The social workers are a very unique group of professionals that network very well, so they have passed our name and website along to a lot of other social workers. So now we are actually helping people in different parts of the United States that are falling, into a hard time, and their social workers are reaching out to their local organizations, but then the needs are greater than what some of them can provide.
Terri, you've really given us a great deal of information. I want to turn it to Matt because we want to find out how we and our audience can get involved, perhaps help out either in small ways, maybe large ways, with ideas, finances, or donating some time. So, Matt?
That's a great question, Bill, and that was what I was going to ask, actually. Is the Michael Magro Foundation a nonprofit organization, and how do you raise money?
So we are, Matt. We're a 501c3. We were incorporated as a 501c3 in 2005. We started the process in 2004 by the time it was all finished. We are an all-volunteer board. We have 14 board members currently. Our expenses are very low. We work out of my house. I just retired myself from NYU Langone, so now I focus on this full time. We work with a lot of volunteers from a variety of different walks of life. We actually have about 90 cents on a dollar that goes right back into the foundation because we don't have the rent, we don't have salaries, we don't have a lot of that. The money is raised primarily through fundraising. We do Well, now we're back up to about 5 or 6 fundraisers a year. During the COVID pandemic, when it was in 2020, 21, and even at the beginning of this year, we had slowed down a little bit with some of the events, but we do a lot of outdoor events. We have a golf outing, we have a beach event, we have a car show. The boys were into basketball and lacrosse, so we do a lot of sporting events as well. So we're always looking for volunteers to help with some of those events. They can contact me through the website, which is michaelmagrofoundation.com. Some people will champion event and do it as a third-party event where maybe in their schools at the elementary, middle school, high school, it doesn't matter. If they want to do a clothing drive, a toy drive, an arts and crafts drive, those types of things we're looking for all the time, because all through the year we need all of those products, and we do supply quite a few hospitals in different locations with those products. Everybody seems to think of the holidays for the toy drives, but, they're there in March, April, May, June. It's birthdays, different celebrations. Their siblings come, a friend comes to visit. We want to be able to extend a toy or something for them to do as well. We also look for a lot of gift cards, which people, if they would like to donate, gas, Stop and Shop, Panera, Starbucks, we'll give some of those cards to the families to be able to utilize, or maybe just share it, not necessarily with the child that's in treatment, but with one of the siblings of the child. That's a quick overview of
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Matt Leonard, along with Bill Horan, and today you are meeting a Long Island organization that wants to better the lives of children with cancer, pediatric cancer survivors and their families, as well as other chronic pediatric illnesses. Our guest today is Terri Magro, and she is the co-founder and vice president of the organization, which is called the Michael Magro Foundation. Terri, my next question is, which hospitals, you may have mentioned this earlier, which hospitals in particular do you work with your foundation?
On a day-to-day basis, Matt, it's NYU Langone, the Cancer Center for Kids in Mineola, the Hassenfeld location of NYU in Manhattan, Columbia Presbyterian, New York Presbyterian's Health System, Cohen's Children's Hospital, Stony Brook's Pediatric Oncology are our main core hospitals right here on Long Island. And then we do work with some CHOPS in Philadelphia. There's a few in New Jersey that are popping through, and a couple sporadic, some in Texas, California, a variety. But we are local based, so we also have a hospital in Southwest Florida. It's part of the Lee Health System, Golisano Children's Hospital.
Terri, I was going to mention, and we always tell our listeners that obviously, we're part of Nassau Community College. We're sitting here on a college campus. What a great way to get a start in the world by volunteering some time and doing something. First of all, you get to see how people react. You're working no matter what for a wonderful cause, and whether it's your cause or someone else's that we're dealing with. But here, certainly we want to help children with cancer, and anything we can do, someone is going to put us over that next step that gets us ahead, and the next step and the next step. So this is a great opportunity, I think, for high school students, college students, seniors who might be retired and have some time where they could help you do some of the work, maybe an outreach if they have a specialty, whether it's kids sports, former teachers working with schools, getting back into that so-called saddle again, or raising funds, or perhaps doing the administrative work. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I know when I was reviewing resumes, if I saw something like this on there, that tells you a lot about the person. And the fact that they can do it, that they're willing to do it, they're willing to reach out, help someone else, that certainly puts them toward the top of the pile. And then the rest of it is their own, history and background. How is your other son doing now? He's a survivor, am I correct?
Yes, yes, thank God. Mark is, he just turned 29 this past March. He is working full time for a company called JLL. They're a real estate management company. He lives in Manhattan. And he's doing, he's doing very well. He's doing very well medically. He's doing well with all walks of his life. So we're very grateful for everything. And Mark is extremely involved in the foundation as well. And one thing I must say, Bill, is both Michael and Mark's friends have embraced the foundation. Mark's friends are extremely involved. One of them is on my board. He's also 29 years old. He's a great, he has a great philanthropic personality. He is the one that guides us the past couple of years with our golf outing. Believe it or not, he has, it's called East End Group. So he's in the world of contracting. So a lot of his vendors he's brought into the mix. So, sometimes it's not always a dollar that somebody's donating that makes a difference. It's just opening up their world to learning about the mission and having some of their friends embrace it. And of course, growing up with Mark from kindergarten, they certainly, elementary school, they know him, they knew Michael. Michael's friends are also extremely involved. Michael was born in 1990, so he's been in his early 30s now, so that's where his friends are, and they're all coming into their own professionally. So now they reach out to their bosses and their organizations, and they can do some fundraising. They can do a lot of matching for donations. So it's really fantastic to see the youth really step up, and they do. They really do, and they want to. It's you're not twisting their arm.
Not only for the main cause, but I lean out to our students here, and again to people who've already had their careers. This is a great way to network, whether it's to network and make a friend, or to find someone in a related field that might work with your field together. It's just to enjoy a day of golf, and you're talking to other golfers, and then finding their vendors, and they might have something to do with the business world you're in. So it can be a win-win on many levels. And I think that not only can it be a great feeling that you're helping these, unfortunately, the patients, etc., but you're also enjoying your life and doing something that you're good at and can help others.
100%. Couldn't have said it better. That was perfectly
Thank you.
good. Yes.
Yeah, Bill, that was great. Where'd you get that from? That was great.
I've got to replay it back later on. I'll find out.
What are some of the other nonprofits you affiliate with your foundation?
So we affiliate with quite a few. There's a group called the Book Fairies, and they donate books to clinical practices, to pediatric practices all over. It doesn't have to be hospitals, but it can be a variety of things. There's a group called J-Zips, and J-Zips started this most amazing foundation with just a thought that was like an aha moment that his family had. These kids have something called a med port that's put in under their skin, and that's how they administer the chemotherapy, blood, they draw blood, they do things. So now these kids want to wear T-shirts, but it's very hard to access the ports that way. So their, I believe, grandmother decided to put 2 slits in their T-shirts and put 2 zippers in there. So depending on what side the nurse was going for or what side the med port was put in, these T-shirts, all they did was unzip them. So they could wear their jeans, their shorts, a T-shirt. Nobody wants to be in a hospital gown when they're sitting in these situations. So J-Zips is just an amazing organization that we do a tremendous amount of work with, and we support their initiative to deliver these T-shirts, which are like superhero kind of, prints on them. Over the holidays, we did just general white T-shirts that the kids made designs on, and they made it more personal for them. But it's a terrific organization. So that's one. We do a lot of work with SIBS. It's a sibling organization that's affiliated with Mount Sinai Hospital, and they're now located in Oceanside. They were in Hewlett for a long time, and they have an after-school program, a before-school program for the siblings of these children that are going through, or an adult. It could have been a parent that either was diagnosed, passed away. They have group sessions. They do a lot of interactions. So we do a lot of support for that. Camp Sunrise is a group that we do a tremendous amount of work with, supporting their walk and just helping the kids get to camp. Of course, Ronald McDonald House, we love to be able to put any family up that we can at Ronald McDonald House, and there's quite a variety of them. They're outside of our area as well. They're in New Jersey. They're all over the place. So, whenever there's an opportunity and a social worker reaches out, we try to do that as well. But that's a few of the ones that we work with. So nonprofits work very well together.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Matt Leonard along with Bill Horan, and today you are meeting a Long Island organization that wants to better the lives of children with cancer, pediatric cancer survivors and their families, as well as other chronic pediatric illnesses. Our guest today is Terri Magro, and she is the co-founder and vice president of the organization, which is called the Michael Magro Foundation. My next question for you, Terri, is I understand you offer a memorial scholarship through Hicksville High School. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. After Michael's passing, we had approached the Hicksville school system and said that we wanted to do a scholarship for a graduating senior going on to college that was not necessarily the child that had the 90 some odd average, but Michael worked hard. He got great grades, but he worked hard for them. So we wanted to be able to recognize two students of every graduating class that puts a lot of effort in and maybe have that mid-80s average where they wouldn't have qualified necessarily for a scholarship to a school they wanted to attend. He was into the arts. He loved the band, and lacrosse was his whole life. He loved it. So kids that played lacrosse, involved in the band, had that type of average is who we donate to. So we were doing $500 scholarships since 2005, and we're raising it up to $1,000 each. So there'll be two $1,000 scholarships that will be given out to Hicksville students.
Terri, as we're listening to you, in case someone doesn't have time to listen to the whole show, if someone wants to get involved, first of all, can you tell us how can we contact you? And are there any positions, whether it's business development or accounting or just administrative work, that you're really looking for that people could help out in that capacity?
Well, I would love to talk to people that have a good IT background, maybe some of the students in the business department, some of the day-to-day data management and, data entry types of things, people that want to go out and help solicit raffle gifts and gift cards, and others that may want to coordinate a small little event. So the easiest way is really through email, Bill, and they can email me direct, which is Magro, Magro, at magrofoundation.com. So it's tmagro at magrofoundation.com, and the website is michaelmagrofoundation.com. So, I encourage them to look at the website to see there's a lot of information on how we distribute. Last year, we distributed $290,000 to families and some of the program development that we work with at the local hospitals.
That's really awesome. And for any students or seniors or people who may be in that pre-retirement, semi-retirement, partial retirement, what a great way to help out and know you're doing something good for the children, for helping other people, and using your skills, whether it's in sales, business development, IT, or whatever, that they could help you. So we'll ask you that again before the end of the show. Terri, I see you have some other programs, something called Life Essentials. What is that?
The Life Essentials is really the core of the whole organization, and that is the gift card program. We purchase about $4,000 to $5,000 worth of gift cards every approximately 5 to 7 weeks. And those cards are gas, Target, Walmart, everything to just food, a lot of Stop and Shop. in our area. And then if we're working with a hospital out of the area, we try and figure out what those gift cards would look like for them. It's, maybe it's Amico and Mobile here, but Shell somewhere else, or Publix because that's the Florida supermarket. So that's part of that. It's basically, Bill, it's paying the bills. We do a lot of co-pays, but the bills start with the fact that deductibles are so high. Now that you have to pay that first, $4,000 or $5,000 before insurance kicks in. That's a big chunk of money for many people. So they're trying to put that on a credit card and pay that off. In the meantime, their life of their car, their phone, their electric, their transportation, their parking, all of that is what's suffering because they can't keep up with all of those bills. So that's the core of what we do every single day. And I distribute that.
I'm just going to do a little commercial for you and say if there's any businesses out there, an accounting office, a mortgage company, a financial planner, or planners, this is a great opportunity to get involved, just to let your clients know that you're supporting this cause. Perhaps going to the golf outing, which would be a fun day, or doing something like that, or whether you have a dance or a dinner. It might be an evening where people can get together, or a day that they can enjoy together, and you're doing something wonderful for a cause. So I think that's an opportunity you're giving to people, and maybe some of our businesses on Long Island. Is there anything you'd like to say to them, the corporations, the law offices, the accounting offices?
The financial planners, elder care attorneys are groups of people that I like to talk to on a regular basis, because that's where the plan giving and their estate planning is coming in handy. And there's many times these people have some finances, and maybe their family is small and they have more money that they would like to donate out and put it into their will. Do a regular, I'm always trying to network with other family foundations that donate specifically to 501c3s. So financial planners, attorneys, elder care attorneys, accountants are all always very good resources for us.
And one donation can really knock your socks off, I imagine.
You got that right. It makes a very big impact. And honestly, if it's $10, $25, or $2,500 or $25,000, it's all very, very much appreciated, because it helps in some way to be able to do something. Parking in the city could cost these parents hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month.
Terri, before we wrap up, once again, tell us how we can get in touch with you and learn more about the Michael Magro Foundation.
Email tmagrofoundation.com is the easiest way to reach me, or reviewing the website, michaelmagrofoundation.com.
And for a lot of our listeners, this can be a life-changing day for you and someone else. Get off that couch, get off that chair, give Terri a call and see how you can help out, and it'll be a win-win for everyone. Terri, we want to thank you for being here today, and we want to let our audience know we've been talking to Terri Magro, the co-founder and vice president of the Michael Magro Foundation. Thanks so much for taking time to speak with us today.
Bill and Matt, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And thanks to Sean for initiating the entire call. Thank you.
I'm Bill Rand. I'm here with Matt Leonard. We thank you for listening to this week's special edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.